Turbo something.
The best channel ever created in this platform.
Cara, se for aquela porra daquele Gustavo Pica.
Gustavo Pica, o embuchador.
Esse é mó chato, velho. Caralho, velho.
Thank you for arriving, Mr. or Mrs. or Mixes. Quite frankly, I can't exactly put my finger on your gender. But that doesn't matter, because I and my unpermanently silent co-host Mick came to discuss our ideas regarding the development of games set in the universe of some of the rising indie animation series. The ideas are presented on a sliding scale of least to most ambitious, so you're free to peruse them in an organized fashion, sir. Or madame, or madnot?
Pitch 1. As Death Were.
The game will be easy to play, hard to master microgames compilation, similar to games like WarioWare, Rhythm Heaven or Damn Ways to Die. There will be a bunch of microgames based on various ASDEF movie bits. For example, there could be one based on the I Like Trains skit, where a group of ASDEF guys walk on and from railways. And the objective of the microgame is to time the train correctly so that it crashes into all of them. So that's fun. Murder. Awesome. Of course, in between each microgame, there will be the iconic TV static, creating an experience that is essentially a playable ASDEF movie episode. For each one microgame, the player gets 1 point. The player will have access only to a quarter of all minigames. However, they can unlock more if they reach a certain amount of points. So, the game will center around arcadey score crunching, where the player returns again and again and again to get the highest score and unlock all microgames. The game would also feature a playlist feature, where the player can build their own custom list of microgames that they can play through. Of course, it wouldn't count into the record, it's just a little something for fun. There would also be an online leaderboard, where players can compare their scores with their friends. As I said, it's one of the simplest games to create, but I see that in your eyes. You're an ambitious person that wants to push the boundaries of gaming medium. This pitch could very well be some mobile game. But the next three are the real, meat and bones, adventures that will suck the players and won't give them back.
Pitch 2. The amazing digital RPG.
Picture this. A quirky RPG following the similar vein as some of the classics of the genre, mainly Mario and Luigi series. The story would diverge from the original and go in the direction of telling its own story within the universe. A rogue computer virus has breached into the digital circus, corrupting it and turning it into its hive, while on top of that, capturing its inhabitants and twisting them into hive masters, meant to rule over each sector of Hive Queen new terrible digital hive. The only person that was able to escape the grim fate was Pomni, and now it's all up to her to rise to the occasion and save the day. Mario and Luigi inspiration would especially shine through the combat system. Each playable character has 2 bars. One of it is, of course, health, and the other is confetti, which is this game's equivalent of mana. As you progress through the game, you unlock new special abilities. They are much more powerful than the standard attack, but they consume confetti points, which increase every time a character levels up, along with their health bar. How much damage an attack deals depends on how well timed presses of buttons are during an attack. They can vary from a single press, for more basic of moves, to entire quick-time events that the player will need to master in order to deal maximum damage. During enemy's turn, the game gives you the option to dodge enemy attacks, meaning that, technically speaking, a skilled enough player could do a hitless run in this turn-based RPG. The game would be split into several worlds, each one being a weird, twisted, infested version of adventures Kane has made for players throughout the show. For example, Candy Canyon, but all the candy has started to decay, and the inhabitants of it became these weird, rotten zombies. Spadsy is getting turned into a megalophobia-inducing megastructure filled to the brim with these grotesquely obese monsters reminiscent of the game Little Nightmare. Or the Haunted Mansion, that actually seemingly turned into this cutesy utopia that actually turns out to be a toxically positive police state. At the end of each world lies a boss called the Hive Master, that is a bizarrely mutated version of one of the circus members. Once you defeat the Hive Master, they get restored back to their original form. alongside the world they infested. After that, their third circus member can become a part of your party. There can be max 3 circus members in your party, with an option to swap them out freely in a menu screen. Every circus member has their own unique special abilities, and you may even unlock some secret synergies if you have specific character combos. For example, if you have Jax and Ragata in your party, you may unlock a special ability where they start fighting each other in this cartoony cloud of dust zooming around the entire battle screen, damaging and stunning the enemies, as well as mildly damaging themselves. As the story progresses, you restore more and more adventures, until the very end, where you enter into the circus itself. It has been turned into this dark, alien-esque incubation hive thing for the virus. The final boss of the game is Hive Queen. She infused herself with the body of Kane in order to gain absolute control over the circus. Once you defeat her, you gain Kane as a party member. The game is over by that point, but if you want you can return to previous worlds and fight some of the enemies in the game. With Kane, it has completely busted abilities that basically one-shot everything, just as a little reward for players' effort. While we're at it, let's just throw in an optional bullshit hard boss that is hard to defeat even with Kane, in the spirit of old school RPGs. Why not? What is that? Oh, you're not interested in RPGs. Do you want something more action-oriented? That's okay. The next pitch will fit just fine.
Pitch 3. Murder Drones Revelations.
She is such a bad bitch, though. I will fuck the shit out of that robot, man. I'm not even...
A hack and slash type game, kind of reminiscent of something like Devil May Cry or Bayonetta. There will be a heavy focus on doing these elaborate combos to get as many points as possible and get the highest ranking at the end of the level, kind of arcade style. There will be 3 playable characters, Uzi, V and N. I imagine V would be slightly more floaty, while N is slightly heavier. You may be asking, why is that, huh? Why is that? Why did you make the female robots slightly floatier and the male robots slightly heavier? The answer to that is really obvious. And really simple. Their fighting style would focus on using an arsenal of weapons, in contrast to Uzi, whose powers and abilities focus primarily on her absolute solver. The game will have a store, in which you could buy various new upgrades for your characters, unlocking new moves and special abilities. Their currency could be some sort of lost artifact of the human civilization, like scraps or something. The game wouldn't have a typical health bar. Instead, it would have something we called oil gouge. Basically, the way it works is that a character has a bar that whenever an enemy hits you, decreases. When you lose the whole bar, game over. However, and here comes the twist, the bar also decreases passively at all times, even when you're not doing anything. And the only way to increase it is to hit enemies from up close in order to suck up their oil, similarly to the blood mechanic in Ultra Kill. That encourages super aggressive playstyle, where the player has to race with time through the entire stage, having to hit hard and fast, all while trying to balance that with doing stylish combos. When it comes to the story, it will be a sort of non-canon sequel to Murder Drones. I feel that Murder Drones is a type of setting that has a lot of potential for expansion. We could introduce some new villains, new characters. Heck, even at some point the characters travel to different planets and find other kinds of worker drones. Who knows? If the game does well, we could even make a sort of prequel called Murder Drones Genesis, happening before the events of the series. We are yet to figure out the kinks of how that even work, but I'm sure we'll figure something out. And if all else fails, the story of the game could just be...
somehow turn.
That doesn't satisfy you? You really want to burn through all of your money? Very well. We got one more, most elaborate, most expensive, most pitch of all. Here it comes.
Pitch 4. Helvetica. Lost in Paradise.
At the start of the game, you create your Helluvasono. You can either start as an imp, a hellhound, or a mortal. You get a bunch of customization options and stuff. You get to name your character, and after you're done, you're basically plopped into an open world hell city, which you're free to explore however you wish. On top of there being a main story that centers around you slowly making your way from the bottom From level 1 Wimp to level 100 Gigachad Overlord of Hell, there are a bunch of different crime organizations controlling different parts of the city that you can either ally with or actively fight against based on a reputation system. For a turf war mechanic, these groups actively wage crime wars against each other in real time, and the territories can shift over time. The player can also align with one of the groups and help them conquer over the hell. But, of course, that would come at the consequences of getting despised by all other factions. Of course, just like in GTA, you'll be able to stop someone's car and steal it right there. You would also have an arsenal of various weapons, starting from your typical bazookas and Uzis, and ending on some crazy anime bullshit, with the endgame weapon probably being an angel weapon. I don't think there'll be a typical 5-star system, like in GTA, cause I'm pretty sure there are no actual cops in this universe. In the hell, I mean. So what I assume would happen instead is that every time you enter territory of a faction, you have a little bar in the upper right corner showing you how pissed they are at you, on the scale from "Don't show up again, I will never speak of that" to "I like to see you sleeping with the fishies." Like, you could align with the Vorxes, which is like a random Vivzy Popisianic name I came up with on the spot, family, the Vorxes family, and like, you're seen pretty positively on their territory, and even if you fuck up some shit, it's not that big of a deal, and you may still be treated as a neutral on terms of factions that have truces with them, but then suddenly, one of the truces break up, and now you're fucking hunted down through half the hell, and you need to go fight in the turf wars to get things under control for the Foxes, and like, I don't know, I think this could actually make for some pretty awesome emergent storytelling, you're gone. Yeah, you're gone. I guess they went with the Asdefware idea. The video is over!